Hello. So I want to share 3 dreams I had. Now, I wasn't going to share these because they seem to be relevant to me. So it's almost like they're a personal dream. But I know that there are a couple of you who know me in person that are interested in this sort of thing. They're interested in any dreams I have, or when I feel like I received a message from the Lord and so forth. However, maybe not so much into reading it. And so I'm just making a video where I will read it to you from my journal where I wrote it down the morning after I had the dream. It's 3 dreams in one night, okay? And they were one right after the other. However, I don't really know that they're related. So it's not like it's one big dream. It was like 3 different messages in one night. And the fact that there were 3 of them, that significance is not lost on me, because we know the number 3 is very significant to the Lord. So let me get right to it. I've already made this video once today, but I deleted it because when I went back to rewatch it, not only did I notice I had lipstick on my teeth, but I did a lot of rambling. So I'm going to try not to do so much rambling this go around. Alright, so this was a dream from the wee hours of Tuesday morning, March 21st, 2023. The first dream. I was walking/jogging down a dark, tree-lined road. I moved faster and faster. I looked up at the sky, which was a night sky, it was nighttime, and said something to the effect of, "More of you, God, less of me." And then I felt myself being lifted up. It was a sudden, forceful grabbing. I still remember the feeling as if I was being sucked up. And I can still remember it even now, 8 days later. I still remember the feeling as if being sucked up. But then I was back on the ground, and I sensed car lights coming from behind me. So I hid in a field of dried up corn stalks along the side of the road. That may be significant. Perhaps it tells us what time of year it was. The fact that it was a field of corn, however, it was past harvest time. It was like the dried up, yellow, brownish, dried up stalks were still standing in the field. I don't know if there was any corn on them or not. But I hid in them. And it so happened that Joey, my husband, pulled up in his truck and stopped. He could not see me, but he shouted out of his window, "Who's there?" I stepped out. Instead of getting in his truck, I told him to follow me a ways down the road, and then I would get in. Alright, commentary real quick. I'm walking down the road in the middle of the night. It is the setting for a horror film, in that, walking down the road in the middle of the night and there's woods on either side of me. However, I was not scared. I did not feel the least bit frightened, nervous, uneasy. It was as if I was just taking a stroll in the middle of the day. But it was nighttime, okay? And then I felt the Spirit come upon me, and that's when I looked up at the nighttime sky and said, "More of you, God, and less of me." And then I was sucked up. It was still night. I remember the Spirit being on me very heavy. Like I knew it was God that had reached down and grabbed me or something. Or was just pulling me up. And I kept shouting it to the sky, "More of you and less of me." And then I was placed back down. So it's not exactly, I would not call it a rapture dream at all. Like, I did not get the feeling that it was the rapture at all in the whole dream. It was something else. What exactly, I don't know. I don't know what God is trying to tell me by that. If he was, just taking me to a higher level. I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions like that. Perhaps the Lord will give one of you insight, and you can share that with me. I would appreciate it. But again, I was not scared. Even when I sensed there were a car coming behind me and I hid in the cornfield, I was not afraid. I was cautious. I was cautious about who I allowed to approach me. I didn't want to be taken unaware. And when I realized it was my husband, then I, obviously came out. And when I told him to follow me down the road, it was not me leading him somewhere. It was, I had somewhere I needed to go. I was on my way somewhere. And he was following behind me, not to follow me, but to guard my back. Okay? He had my back. That was the whole point. And then whatever it was I was on my way to do, once that was done, or once I had arrived at wherever I was going, then I would be joined back with him, but until then, he was guarding my back. So, you can tell me what you think about that. Second dream. Joey and I were at my cousin's home. Now, these are my dad's cousins. My dad's cousin and his wife, okay? And I spent a lot of time there when I was about 11 years old, because they have a daughter who is close to my age, so I spent the night with her quite a bit, and I spent a lot of time there around that time. However, I have not been there for probably 20 to 30 years, okay? It's been a long time since I've been in their house. Yet, in my dream, I'm at their house, and they are not at home. Joey and I are at their house. It was like we were going to spend the night there. I don't know if we were house sitting or what, but the owners of the home were not there. It was just me and Joey, and my daughter was there briefly, but then she just kind of faded out of the dream. So, I went in their bedroom and noticed Joey had just come out of the bathroom where he had taken a shower. He was clean and smelled good. He was already fully dressed. But I remember noticing he was clean and he smelled good. Like I could literally smell him in my dream. I looked down the hallway and saw a girl I knew as a teenager. She said something about portals. Then she morphed or changed into another girl that I knew as a teenager. And both of their names is Anne. One goes by Anne, the other goes by Annie. I haven't seen either of these women since we were teenagers, okay? So, Annie was persistent in telling me about tiny wormholes through which small metallic objects pass, as well as the existence of larger portals. She insisted that I know and understand, as if it was very, very important I understood about these wormholes and portals. Next, I remember some random dude being there, and we understood he was possessed by a demon. We're looking at him, and Joey looks at me. Joey's my husband. Joey looks at me and says, "Do your thing." So then I looked at the man and began shouting, "Come out in the name of Jesus." End of that dream. That's the one. If you have an interpretation, obviously we know about portals, and I believe that there are portals through which the spirit world can pass from the spiritual dimension into the physical dimension, whether they be angels, fallen angels, whatever. So if you have any insight on that, I will say that about 2 years ago, I had another dream in which I was standing on a city street, and everybody was looking up at the sky, and there was a portal in the sky. It was like a ball. In the middle of the ball was a Y that looked like the flux capacitor off from Back to the Future. You know how it was shaped like a Y, and it had like an electrical current that flowed through it. Well, that's what it was. It was like a big ball in the sky with the flux capacitor looking thing going in the middle of it with these currents flowing through it, and the entire thing was revolving. And somebody in my dream on the street with me said it is called a sky whirl. 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 Sky whirl. That was it. So is this a warning or a preparation that of the coming alien deception that I know is going, I know it's coming, that these so-called aliens are going to appear through these so-called portals, but of course they're not aliens, they're fallen angels, and it's going to delude all of mankind. There's going to be a great delusion. I don't know, perhaps I say that's probably what it is, but let me know what you think. All right, third dream. I was walking through someone's house on my way to somewhere else. Never seen this house before in real life. I didn't even see the house. I mainly just saw the room that I was passing through and the carpet. It was as if I was trying to get from point A to point B, and the shortest distance was to go through this person's house. Okay? So I was walking through someone's house on my way to somewhere else. A lady whom I could not see and whose house it was in my dream said to someone else that I could not see, I only heard her voice say, "Look how white her boots are." I looked down and was wearing very white calf-length boots. So boots that went up almost to my knee. I noticed I was not leaving a mess or dirtying her light-colored carpet in any way. I worried when I realized I'm walking through somebody's house in boots, but I looked down, I'm not leaving a trail or, bringing in dirt or whatever. And I passed on through and went out the back door. End of dream. That's the end of the 3 dreams. After talking with my dad and I think my sister, the third dream seems like a confirmation to me, or an assurance to me that the white boots are the part of the armor of God, the shoes of the gospel of peace, and it was God's way of assuring me that the so-called the gospel that I am following, that I am trying to live out, that I'm trying to teach, that I portray, through my life or whatever, is the true gospel. So, because I'm always worried about being deceived, and when you start feeling like you hear the Lord talking to you, and you kind of see angelic activity going on around you, and I'm not used to that. I wasn't raised up, I guess I was raised up kind of experiencing it, but I didn't understand what I was seeing. But, that's just not stuff we've talked about in my life. So I've been praying that I not be deceived and asking the Lord to correct and confirm things. And I think that's what he was doing through that dream. So I'd like to know what you think. If you have any thoughts at all, pray about it. If it's confirmation to you about something, let me know. Whatever. So I'm going to go. Thank you. Have a blessed, beautiful day. It's gorgeous here in central Kentucky. And we'll talk again soon, Lord willing. Bye-bye.